Marcus, I found out in LA.
Who that?
Who that? Who that?
Melcher.
It's that.
Joe
It's
Melcher?
that.
Ah, Melcher. I love Melcher. He's such a good man. We
You're just
work
gonna have to
together.
take it from the top, Dolly. Sorry, Marcus.
This is it. We're taking it from the. We're just going live like this, and that's totally fine.
Are we live?
We're
You
live
just flipped the button in the middle of a
on the
conversation.
Lonely TARDIS.
So big ups to John Melcher for tuning in last week. We
Big
go
ups.
way back into
Way
the times.
back.
Yes,
Me too. About a year. So
I don't know him.
way back.
18,
Don't know him at all.
Wow.
18 years ago. So I've actually technically known him longer than I have known my darling wife.
Oh,
Technically.
Technically.
gentlemen,
I spent
hello.
more time with her. Oh, hello, Dally. Sorry.
Hello,
welcome
Dolly.
to the
Yeah,
Lonely
is there a
TARDIS.
podcast going to try to break
yeah,
out here or what?
apologies. You just flipping switches and whatever.
We're good.
Man gets one candy
All right.
cane and thinks he's
I mean,
bad
Third
Santa.
try. Welcome
he's
to
hopped
the
up on sugar and goofballs.
It's unbelievable. He shows up on time, and suddenly the
Fiddlesticks.
whole world revolves around him.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the Lonely. Welcome to the Lonely TARDIS, your journey through Time Lords and space, where 3 wonderful companions talk all things Doctor Who. And this week, Sean, Marcus, and I will discuss the Giggle. Get ready to laugh.
Dolly, want to
yes,
crack
I'm Dolly. That dude right there, Mr. Talkative, is Marcus Beer. Yeah, okay, good. And this person over there.
What? Sorry, to acknowledge the fact that I am who I am.
Yeah, are you
I mean,
Marcus
hi,
Beer?
I'm me. He's Dolly. I'm me. We're good.
And this person wearing the festive Christmas shirt, one Sean Norton.
Shit.
Whoa.
I mean, you guys are all festive. Hang on.
I'm not. I'm eating a candy cane.
Why is he scratching himself like a gorilla?
He's gonna go shake a tree down. Oh my goodness! Look, we already got a couple of viewers.
Yeah, look at this.
You want festive?
Oh.
I'll give you festive. buggers.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Take
Nastiness.
it. Put it on. Put
Adding
it on.
nastiness.
Do you have
Turn the
anybody have any
camera off.
singles?
Turn the camera off.
I am
So you-
blind.
You can see we have viewers. I can't see we have viewers. That's cool.
We got at least 3 viewers now.
We have 3
wow.
viewers?
Yeah, we were
That's
just
a
starting.
300% increase from
Yeah.
10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago.
And they're all our spouses, our significant others, just supporting us. Gentlemen, hello, hello.
Hi.
I got to see these two lovely dudes over the last week, and it was right here. It was right here in the heart.
Indigestion.
Both of the hearts right here. It was
Acid
indigestion.
reflux.
You know, a little
yeah,
bit of
caused
acid
a bad
reflux.
reflux. Yeah. Couldn't get out of
No.
LA fast enough.
Couldn't get out
Really
there.
killed me.
But it was wonderful to see you two lovely gentlemen in Los Angeles last week. And we got to fawn over Doctor Who and not know what was going to happen in the Giggle, because I do not watch the trailers and the previews. But it was good to kind of chat and coalesce and come together and hang out and receive a great gift. Sean, do you want to show the great gift that... Look at that. Look at that. Lovely,
I'll
lovely,
cherish this forever.
lovely.
And I will read it every Christmas from
Same.
now until the sun burns out.
So you see that? Marcus got me that too. Amazing enough, Marcus is buying a copy for every
new, it
little boy
cracked when I
and
opened it.
girl.
It's
from
so new,
Gallifrey.
it cracked when I opened it. No one has ever opened this book before. This is
Well,
amazing.
no, it's
You
never
can't
been
even-
opened
Let's
up.
try
You
it.
can't
It
even
came
buy this in the US, let alone open it here.
It
I'm
came
gonna
from
try
the UK.
like- It's just the thoughtfulness just flying out of it. It makes me so happy.
I'm going to
I've got
open the
one too.
TARDIS book. Let's see what it sounds like.
Oh, you hear that?
Really weird.
Yeah, I've got one too, but it's been
beautiful.
confiscated and it's been wrapped up and put under the tree for Christmas.
Oh, okay. All right. It'll be your
I
gift
could
to
do
yourself.
that. I could open it on Christmas
I'm
morning
going
and
to.
save it.
No, you
Not
can
spoiling
look, open it,
myself. No,
read it, open it, whatever you want
look,
to do.
this is basically my mantra. So it's like,
Life,
right there.
life in oils. I mean,
Sounds like a
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
date
yeah.
night to me.
Ask John Melcher.
Well, gents, it is so good to chat. We are going to talk about the Giggle, the final episode with David Tennant ever. He is no longer the Doctor. That was it. It's done and
We've
over
heard that
with.
before.
And let's get let's get the elephant. There's a big elephant in the room. Let's get that out of the way. I'm eating candy. The other elephant
That's
in the
how
room.
it feels. That's how it feels after
the
this episode of
Christmas
Doctor Who.
listing.
That's how it feels.
Yes.
I'm done with.
Tell
I'm
us
done with
what
the book now.
happened. Tell us the big old reveal, Marcus. We don't have to go into the summary just yet. Tell us. Just go right to the punchline.
Hey, we're all buy now.
Yeah.
It was a case of buy now, pay later.
Okay.
It was by generation Saturday on Doctor Who, which is obviously, if you don't know what by generation is, it's regeneration, but they split apart like a starfish.
Yes.
And they both go on their merry ways. And the interesting thing is that Russell T on the Doctor Who podcast said it's canon now and it's retroactive. So he's now opened it up to all the still alive previous Doctors.
Love it.
To be cameos, to appear in different shows, whatever. They're all wondering. And I mean, this is obviously something that Stephen Moffat, is it Stephen Moffat? Yeah, Moffat, was it? I can't remember his name now. I'm old. Anyway, Moffat did on the 50th, where we got to see Tom Baker and who knows. So this was expanded upon and is now canon. The thing I loved about this was that the 15th Shooty said it doesn't exist. It's just a myth, but now it's happened. I mean, it's like, I loved it. I mean, just to basically, put it out there, and for anybody to say, "Well, it's never happened before. You can't do that. It's just ridiculous," because there are some neckbeards out there.
There are already folks doing it. Yeah,
That's a very woke show. Yeah,
it is. Apparently, it is.
It's a brand new thing for Doctor Who. Yeah.
It's incredible. That the only way to prolong the main character was to come up with a cockamamie idea of regeneration. Back then, that was purely a money-making thing. By generation, at least has a plot to it and it has fan service, but it's still, who cares? They're having fun with it. When that moment happened, I lost my shit. I know Marcus lost his shit, and we could not. Pardon my swearing. I'm just very excited. We could not keep it to ourselves because we were poking at Sean. Sean was on a flight, and we were poking at Sean.
Oh, we were winding him up, but I mean, we didn't spoil it for him. We switched to a separate text stream, whatever.
Message group. Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you did, not cool, boys. Not cool. Stuck in a flying metal tube with a dude next to me who would not stop farting for 4 hours. And I'm just like, guys, I just need to know, is it good? No spoilers. Did you like it? Did you hate it? That's it.
Spoil it? Did we spoil it?
And you gave me the most cockamamie bullshit for an hour.
It was wonderful.
Did we spoil it?
It was wonderful for you. It was misery up in the sky.
Hey, look, if you'd have delayed your flight, you could have come to my house and watched it with me. But no, you had to get home because you got a lovely wife and who wants to see you. And apparently you partied so hard last week. You were like, oh, I'm feeling under the weather. I'm burning the candle at every end. I'm going to go to bed.
Oh, man, that was terrible. Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm glad you're home and in one piece. So, yes.
No, it's okay. Guilt trip me a little more about coming home to my wife. That's not weird. That's fine.
No, I said you had to get home to your beautiful wife. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
What you're saying your wife's not beautiful?
I regretted not staying and hanging out with you. I told her that today. And she was like, yeah, I appreciate that very much, but I also would have killed you. So I was like, yeah,
no, Val is wonderful. One day, all of us will sit and watch an episode with our spouses.
Yes.
I would love that.
Yeah, my wife would not care at all. She'll be on her phone because she's not a Doctor Who fan, but that's okay. I have to be double the fan because there's double the Who now. So let me get through the plot real quick.
I think everybody knows about the plot. And look, we are short on time.
Yeah,
It's another
yeah, we
quick
are.
one.
We are.
Let's just go to what we
Yeah,
thought. So we
40
know what the plot is.
Mhm.
If you don't know what the plot is, you shouldn't be watching this fucking show anyway. Go to Wikipedia, or even better, watch the damn episode. I mean, so many. It's amazing how many people watched it, because a guy at my gym this morning, one of the instructors, saw me rewatching it for the third time because I wanted to
Mhm.
prep. He said, "Oh, what you watching?" I said, "Doctor Who." I said, "What do you think of By Generation?" I'm like, "This was a young kid in his
Oh,
like
nice.
early 20s."
a
And
third of your age.
yeah, a fifth of my age.
A
But
fifth
yes,
of Hennessy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I actually would love to know what the viewing figures were for
Oh yeah.
these
Oh, yeah.
entire. So if somebody wants to Google, oh, look at that, Sean, ever the professional is
Well,
goggling it.
you get the overnights, but you won't get the full viewing online
Sure.
stuff for seven days.
But I mean, even the overnights, they aired when they're supposed to with Doctor Who. It was on a Saturday night. It was 6:30. It wasn't Sunday at ass cracker clock being shuttled around the schedules. It was basically back to Who, and it was the most popular Doctor. So I think it probably did very
well,
well.
here we go. Doctor Who draws in a whopping 6.2 million viewers. Oh, come on. Oh gosh.
So 6.2 million
Well,
viewers in the
yeah.
UK, which is obviously, it doesn't, there's not that much. That is actually probably enough to put it in the top 3 for the day, probably for the week as well.
It's number 3
Bearing
at
in mind how many
4.6.
channels there are and everything else that's going on. And you factor in, I'm sure they'll release the Disney Plus numbers at some point.
This was day
and-
of. Day of. Drew
Okay.
a peak of 6.2 million viewers for Shooty Got was much anticipated debut.
What? Where are you getting 6.2?
I'm sorry. Yeah, 6.2 million viewers. This is from Daily Mail. Is showing it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Third most watched program of the day.
Yeah.
Behind Strictly. Strictly was the season finale, and I'm a Celebrity was also the season finale in the UK.
Yep.
And let's face it, there are a lot of morons who will watch I'm a Celebrity because morons like morons. This is just UK. Doesn't include iPlayer. Yes, we'll
Right.
see.
Yep. Disney Plus. We're gonna see some.
That's
great
actually
numbers.
banging. That's a
Yeah.
banging number for a Saturday night in December, up against these two juggernauts that pull in. I mean, Strictly normally pulls in about 10 to 12, and I'm a Celebrity about 8 to 10. So
Speaking of, you can pull doctors apart, create.
See, what's fun about this for me is Dolly's internet keeps borking. So, like, every other word dips out, and I have no idea.
Did
it's
it
like,
do it again?
What's fun about this is you create. It's like, oh, okay. You're right. That is fun. That's great.
You guys talk. Let me plug in. I'll be right back.
Okay, he's going to go plug in.
Before the show. Plug in before the show. This is not our first rodeo.
We are consummate professionals, Sean and I. We are both hardwired in
for a living.
We don't do Wi-Fi. He does like 15,000 podcasts a week on top of his day job. I mean, he comes from podcast to do another podcast.
I know.
But
He's got a podcast after this one, which is why we never have time to do this podcast.
Let's talk about the show. So,
okay,
how good was MPH?
Oh my God! Talk about show stealing. Like, I want him to come back every season. He was incredible.
Yeah. Now, technically, he's banished from this level of existence, but his minions are coming. He said, beware my legions.
I'm plugged now. I'm plugged.
Oh, way to interrupt a conversation.
Minions, legions, I heard you. Keep going.
No, we were talking about how good Neil Patrick Harris was.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I mean, I've always been a big fan of his. He has a great show about being, there's a great show of his on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it, and it's basically a relationship thing, like Sex and the City.
Yes, my wife and I watched that. It was great,
and
show.
It's just been renewed for season 2, so I look forward to that.
Nice.
But I honestly was concerned when he was cast because it's like, oh, great, American actor, is he just coming for the paycheck? But oh my freaking God,
killed it. It.
I mean, we don't need the master. Just give me Neil Patrick Harris playing every freaking enemy from here till Tuesday. He really got the mannerisms of the Celestial Toymaker down. So anybody who has seen the OG, and it's one of those ones that's been very hard to watch, because some of the episodes are missing, and the BBC has has animated the audio from the missing episodes. So I think in February of next year we will be able to have the William Hartnell Celestial Toymaker.
Fantastic.
But there is a book version of it out there, and I remember reading it a long time ago. But the thing that struck me right from the get-go, from that very opening sequence, the Celestial Toymaker back in 1964 was a very racist caricature. He was almost almost Asian, even though he was played by Michael Gough, who played Alfred in the first 3 Batman movies with Val Kilmer,
I didn't realize that.
and Michael Keaton. It was like the Oriental bad guy thing, the way he was dressed, and he had this sort of like really, he had this aura of racism around him. And the fact that they kept that, but they changed it up so when Neil Patrick Harris's incarnation was talking to Logie Baird's assistant at the beginning, and he's going, "There's this and that and then he drops the accent just to say, "Well, I'm sure you're from warmer climes." To have that, like, this is just to show how nasty a character this is, and how everybody's below him, and how he likes to poke and twist. I thought that was a brilliant touch and a good way of addressing the racist version from 150 years ago, which was, flat out racist, unfortunately. Yep. And we've had those with the town of Wen Chiang and quite a few others. But yes, he was brilliant all the way through. He spiced up our life.
Yes.
Oh my God.
A wonderful dance number.
I've watched it so many times. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Ironically, he picked, and again, I don't know if this was just them going to type the most racist Spice Girl song, because there is a line in that song that says "Yellow Man in Timbuktu." And I just thought that was, we didn't hear it in this version, which was, thank God we didn't. But I just thought that was another, just, intentional, not probably intentional with Russell T. But yes, he was brilliant.
I think everything is intentional at this point with him. Yeah.
I thought he was absolutely superb. I do hope we see him again. And he's
in a box. He's in a box. He's not gone. He is
in the
just
bottom of unit, surrounded by salt.
Surrounded by salt. The second time we've seen salt mentioned in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because he changed the rules. He changed the rules and invited him in.
He did indeed.
He played the game.
Yes, he put the last incantation of the Master to shame. I mean, he was genuinely terrifying, and I will say this was the fucking scariest episode.
It was freaky.
Time. If I'd have been anywhere under the age of 10, I'd have been behind the couch, because everything from Stucky Bill to the Stucky babies and the teeth and the puppeteering.
They did a wonderful. So there were so many layers and aspects to this episode that I thought were fantastic. Right, we mentioned Neil Patrick Harris, his phenomenal performance as a toy maker, both in the past, in the present. This ever-shifting building like a TARDIS, right? Essentially a TARDIS. You also had the puppet show where Donna kept, finding out about everything that's happened to all of the Doctor's companions. And then Shooty's, I got to say, his terrific performance as Doctor number 15. Like, that he did just a terrific job. He did it in his underwear too. So God bless him.
No one said a word.
No one said a word. Nobody mentioned. He's just dude's there fantastic. with the Doctor's tie and underwear.
Bare feet.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they split the clothes, but can we just go back to that bit where the Toy Master's sharing with Donna the all the ones who've died, and that whole, well, that's all right then.
Well, that's all right then.
I was just,
that's all right then. That was so good.
And the teeth.
The extra teeth he had, and then he had the gold tooth. The master.
Yeah.
Oh man, he never. I was watching the behind the scenes. He was not familiar at all with Doctor Who.
Really?
Yeah, Russell T Davies reached out to him because they'd worked together on something else, and he didn't want to go through his agent, so he sent him a message on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, man,
Oh,
I've got this script.
perfect.
What you want to read it?" And Neil Patrick Harris read it or read the first couple pages. He's like, "I'm in. Let's do it." Like done. Like
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I
And
love it when
it's
they
really
focus. Go on.
it's hard to act across David Tennant and be an
Mhm.
equal or in some scenes even better. And
Oh,
he
it's so
stole the
good.
show. Like those two
I want
and
him
Donna
back.
and everybody
I
else, but
want
were
him
like
back.
just
Yeah.
lightning in a bottle. Like it was just phenomenal.
Well, I
And
think he will be back. I think we'll probably see him at some point again this season. He will
yeah.
get loose. But yes, I mean the bit where they're sitting across each other and they're about to draw cards.
Mhm.
That is NPH doing all the card tricks himself. He's actually um, a close-up magician.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
practiced this stuff and he's given shows and everything, which I thought was fantastic. Obviously, we've got the dancing scene.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Oh man.
yeah, I mean, and the fact is that he was only in 2/3 of the show,
Oh.
and he owned it from pillar to post. I mean, David Tennant gave as good as he got. Catherine Tate took Donna to a new level because she was not frightened when the Stucky wife and the Stucky babies came out. I said, "My
Mhm.
name's Donna.
Oh
You're a
God, that
Donna."
was just.
Bosh. That was brilliant. It's like,
Mhm.
got anything else to say? These babies back up, and that's fantastic. And then that line when they've just played the card game, and the toy maker is like, now it's time for 2023, and everything starts to collapse. And the
Mhm.
doctor opens his mouth. He said, "I'm already running." I mean, it was just brilliant. She never lost her cool. We
Mm-mm.
got to see her. Um, we know that there's still Dr. Donna in there because
Yep.
we got to see her
Yep.
create this computer program with the fastest fingers in London. Her
And she
negotiating
now has a
with
job at
Job,
Unit, by the way. Remember?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
on
the
the spot
way she
negotiation.
negotiated is like, no,
Yeah.
120,000, 5 weeks holiday. Um,
Okay.
brilliant. I mean,
So good.
and Mel Bush, who was a
Yes.
punchline, who was Bonnie Langford, a punchline for the longest time because of her involvement in Doctor Who. And Bonnie Langford is, she's a variety entertainer in the UK, and she was, singer, dancer, and she was, she was just somebody who was ridiculed, and it's like, oh, her last name's Bush, by the tabloids in the 80s, and to
Well,
see her
they
back for the second episode, she
yep,
was
her
back
second
obviously
time
at the
around.
end of, yeah,
I
and to
think
see
what was great with her is that Donna mentions, "Oh, another redhead," and she's like, "Yeah, I was the first, but you weren't the next," or something to
yeah.
that extent. She kind of took Donna back. No, I mean, this cast was terrific. I really thought they nailed everything from top to bottom. The idea of the giggle and making everybody angry was it's very secondary. It was such a secondary premise. It's like, okay, we needed something to string this along, but when you look at, I think the premise of the anger and letting it out and letting things out really was sort of the a very like in your face explanation of what the doctor had to go through in his lifetime, because there were times when the doctor was very angry and kept everything bottled up and felt like a sense of duty, especially tenants felt like a sense of duty. Well, when everybody else let theirs out through anger, he lets out at the very end when they say, you can go home now, and he's home. His his sense of duty is now shifted to being with a family, being with people that he loves, and I thought that's really the whole point of the episode. They just used this giggle, the idea to kind of just really skim the surface on it. I thought it was really well done. The subtleties, the undertones of what the doctor has to go through, how the doctor got angry when
Oh
the
yeah.
puppet master was, when the toy maker was going through all this stuff with the puppet. Oh, it was just so good. Everything was so good.
The lecture to the humans,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that reminded me
Yep.
of the Doctor at the end of the Time Lord Triumphant at the
Yes.
end of the Waters of Mars. The
Yep.
angry Doctor, the angry David Tennant that we never really got to see. And we hoped that, we would, but it came a little too late. But yeah, that lecture, I mean, that's Russell T Davies at
Yeah.
his finest. And I said this to you in text over the weekend, that Russell T Davies altered canon, increased the diversity, and got political, and
Yep.
nailed every single
Just
aspect.
landed everything.
And he is
perfectly.
the total anti-Chibnall, because Chibnall tried to do all three versions, came off as stupid for messing with
Yeah.
with canon, preachy with regards to diversity and politics, and it just goes to show there is a country mile between those two in talent. And I will say, Russell T Davies has obviously been magnanimous and wonderful, and refuses to bash Chris Chibnall. I mean, that's our job. But I think that this is the way he drew a line under the 14 and all the previous Doctors, is that the new Doctor, Ncuti, is going to get away from that past.
Yes.
And we're just going to move on. And it's the flux has been mentioned twice now, and that's it. It's gone. I don't think we'll see it being mentioned again. So should we just go to the bi-generation scene? First of all,
I want to hear from Sean. I want to hear from Sean.
I want to hear from
you
Sean.
And I
always want to hear from Sean, but I mean, I think he's just still.
He's been nice and
just
quiet, recovering
bubbling inside. He's just so happy.
I'm still mad about the plane.
With the farts pod.
Terrible. Some decency, folks. God. What's to say? I don't know. You touched on a lot of the stuff I was going to rave about. So,
Sorry.
No, this. It just puts me in a spot now, right? Because now if I have to balance repeating myself, but like sounding original,
Dude,
and not just copying you.
repeat yourself. No, I mean, copy away. I think we're all in the same boat here. The fact is, we are in the majority. We've all had these amazing feelings from this episode, and the last 3 episodes in particular, and we're so relieved that it's not a chore anymore. So please, if you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's wonderful too. Just speak from your twin hearts.
I think it's refreshing that you can mess with canon, like you said, but do it in a forward-facing way.
Yeah.
Versus a writer who is, in my opinion, inferior talent-wise, that does what he does to put his mark on the show, and alienates a huge part of the fandom, right?
Yeah.
For him to introduce something like this that could change the game going forward and have us all raving about it, and theorizing about it too. I mean, we haven't really talked about it here, and I know we're going to get more into the scene in a minute, but there's this sort of like off the cuff line where he's just like, we're Time Lords, we're doing rehab in reverse or out of order. You fix yourself to David Tennant, which is why Ncuti is fine in the future. So there's all these theories now, and who knows if anything will come of them, where it's like the bi-generation happens, but part of the reason why it happens is because it borks the timelines and pulls Ncuti from the future. And then when he eventually, like when he either he regenerates or David Tennant or whatever, we will see those timelines merge again, and that's where he will pop out. So it's just a fascinating thing to think about, right? That's the kind of thing that like we could spend hours for the next year, like just bouncing random ideas off each other, versus stuff like The Timeless Child, where it's just like, why would you do anything before everything and change the entire whatever? And I know Davies had mentioned
ham-fisted. It was ham-fisted.
And I know he'd mentioned like this could change everything. It could create the Who-niverse, and other Doctors could have done this. But until it happens in the show, I'm going to just consider that like him fan baiting on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's cool to think about because, but he might not. But this is what I'm talking about. Like we're not doing it with a sense of dread, right? If Chibnall did the same thing on the official Doctor Who podcast, we would be pulling our hair out, and we'd just be
But
miserable.
he's done it before. He gave us Sarah Jane Adventures. He gave us Torchwood. And
he's given us Tales of the TARDIS. Have you watched Tales of the TARDIS yet?
Where can I watch that?
I caught a couple clips on YouTube, but apparently it's only in the BBC right now, or
Yeah,
iPlayer.
Marcus, you've watched it, right? Or no?
That's the Doctor Who Confidential replacement. Yeah?
No.
No,
Tales
no,
of
no, no.
TARDIS is
This is old doctors showing up with old companions to talk
Oh,
about
actually,
old
yes. No,
adventures.
yes. Actually, I've watched one. I've watched one. I have a very good friend who got me access to it, but I'm not going to dob him in because, yes, I mean, now, see, now this is the stuff, and this is where the BBC and Russell T needs to talk to Disney Plus. And it's like it's all well and good having an extras page on Disney Plus that shows a trailer, but I want the behind the scenes. I want Tales from the TARDIS. I want a splash page for Doctor Who. I want one for the Whoniverse.
Absolutely.
But on the subject of the Whoniverse, we are so getting a unit show. It's been rumored for a while. I don't think Torchwood will be back, but which is a shame. But I think the horrible American UK version of Torchwood killed that stone dead. But I think what we saw over the weekend with the Avengers Tower and that
Another
really
God.
that robot.
You remember we were so mad? I'm sorry to interrupt you. But you remember we were so mad because like it was a throwaway line, and it's just like there's no unit anymore. They just don't have funding in the Chibs era. Oh, they're just gone. Like just
yeah.
Now not only are they back, it's tower in the middle
like
of London,
a big
like Tony
right
Stark's, like
Love it.
Yeah.
But that robot, Flanks, Spanks, whatever his name is,
Flinks, yeah,
Spanks.
Okay, so if you've ever been to Disneyland, he felt like the robot that you get on Star Tours.
Yeah.
Which was a bit off. I mean, he was obviously a physical prop. He's going to take a little bit of finessing, I think. I'd love to know where he came from, or they came from, whatever it is. But yeah, I think now that he has set up this Whoniverse. I'd rather they called it the Whoverse. We didn't need the knee in there, but I think we're gonna look at. We know Mel is back in the next season. She becomes a recurring character, which probably means Unit's going to be a recurring character, and I think that's probably going to set up this spin-off series. But then we will see Donna, we will see 14, we can see all these other ones, and I think they will, they'll have a plan that they pop these actors in from time to time. But I think we'll also see, it might even be that we'll see them as the Unit specials. They will be specials, and they will be proper adventures with budget, and they will have these things in. But I'm so excited. I mean, when Moffat tried to expand the universe, he gave us Class, which was not very good. But who can do? I mean, no pun intended. But who can do this better than RTD? Because he has said right from the get-go he wants to build this huge universe, and that's, I think, why Disney Plus has bought into it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, no, there's so many rumors. To put a bow on my other thing I was talking about really quick, the Tales of the TARDIS is now supposedly as a part of this and officially canon, according to RTD.
Yeah.
Because of the bi-generation stuff. It's fine. I feel like that would maybe bother me if it was being handled differently or poorly. But I guess like it takes 5 seconds to realize we've already known that this is a universe with infinite, like there's a multiverse in Doctor Who. We've seen him pop into other universes. We've seen him pop out of the universe entirely. So the idea of like those regeneration scenes causing different timelines to branch off is fine. I'd have no problem with that. I think it's fun. Let's get the old guys back in. Let's get that rumored McGann series or special.
Yeah.
Now we can.
Right?
I mean, we know the Big Finish stuff is canon. So my understanding is that Big Finish is canon. Maybe it's going to get retconned.
Cool.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's have more than a cameo when the Doctor's supposed to be dead, and we see these guys coming through and trying to wake her up.
Right.
What
did you guys think of? I know we're gonna get to the regeneration scene, but what did you guys think of? Because you mentioned the puppet show and clipping the strings and that brilliant American accent. Well, that's all right then.
How
did you interpret that? Because I've seen some interesting interpretations of that online, where it's like, obviously the always online people are just like, oh, it's a middle finger to like the way Moffat handled companions and this, that, whatever. I didn't see it like that. I saw it. It's all telling this story of compartmentalized trauma and grief that the doctor is going through, and that how he tells himself, well, but she lived to be old age, or
Mm.
she lived in the last second of her life forever, or her consciousness survived. It's like, dude, this is still traumatic as fuck, man. Sorry, this is still traumatic as hell, man. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
what are
come
you?
on. We can
What are
say
you
this is a grown-up
doing?
show.
Well, Dolly always catches himself, so I assume I'm going to get fined by the Dolly
You're fine. The
CC.
FCC, the
The
Dolly
DCC.
CC, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, did you
Yeah, yeah.
guys? What were your
It was
takeaways from that?
psychological
Because
warfare.
I loved it.
It was
Loved it.
psychological warfare on behalf of
Yeah.
the toy maker, because the toy maker plays games, and he was playing the mind games, one to torture the doctor, and the bonus of maybe scaring the crap out of Donna. And the fact that it had no effect on her whatsoever. I mean, she
No.
was, she was like, "Oh, so why didn't you tell me?" But boom, and then done. I mean, it was
But
like,
it affected him. It affected
yes, it
him.
affected him.
You,
I mean,
you saw it from the very beginning, where he told her he didn't know if he'd be able to save her. Told her to run back to the TARDIS. And then that puppet show, he was just getting increasingly, visibly distressed by it. And it was just such a fantastic scene. There's so many fantastic scenes in here, but yeah, it just, you don't, I think another reason I appreciated this versus some people who felt it was too whimsical, or he wasn't serious enough or threatening enough, you don't see a lot of people do very little, if anything, to get under the doctor's skin. And from the moment he stepped foot in that toy store, he was off kilter. And the toy maker just continued to ramp that up. And 14, Tenant, whatever, continued to show increasing distress, increasing frustration. They were in a game. The entire episode was them in a game. Playing games. And it was just, I keep saying it, I repeat myself, it's just a master class in acting, in hero, in villain, in trauma, and repressed guilt and sadness, in facial acting, and full body acting. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. It makes me so happy. It just makes me I put Marcus to sleep, but it just makes me happy because anyway, I know we keep let's get to unless you guys have any thoughts on the puppet stuff, we should talk about Shooty and the Bi generation.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bi generation.
So I just want to just say, when that started, did you notice they played Tennant's theme from when I don't want to go? It was Tennant's theme from his Doctor Who run, and I was like, "Oh fuck, here we go!" And I was starting to tear up. And then the interesting thing was, he said Allons-y, which is Italian. I think it's Italian. Is it Italian? French. Okay, but whatever it is, it's foreign for "let's go." From I don't want to go to "let's go," which was, again, chef's kiss.
Well, Donna said that in the previous episode too, right? Donna said a variation of that. She calls it a Alon's-idiot or something like that. Alon's-idiot.
No, it's Alon's, as idiots tend to say Z.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She made it into a Temesis.
Yes.
Which is boom, boom, sandwich. Yep. But yes, I mean, it went from, "Oh, he's gone again," to what?
It was, what I thought was great is that they pulled one over on us, because I felt as though, this is how we're gonna generate into Shooty. It was just kind of anticlimactic, and I'm like, he got shot, and yeah, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was gonna be. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, he's not generating. He's not gonna go. He's not gonna. Wait. He said pull. What's it? Oh my God! It went from this like, what
an emotional roller coaster.
Totally
unbelievable. Yeah, and because I totally, like, we got sad. My wife and I watched it. We were really sad. We were just like, man, they just, like, he really is just subverting it. Like, just boom, he's shot. Like, no one would have seen it coming. He would have regenerated on the helipad, and boom, we would have had our new guy. And to go from that sad, like, because I'm thinking of what Marcus was saying, like, let's get a whole Tennant series. Like, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, we're done right here on the spot.
Yeah, it's over.
And and then nothing happens. He's like, this feels different, and then pull, and then push, and I'm really me. Like, unbelievable. Like, we almost jumped off the couch. We're like, holy shit, what is happening here?
Mhm.
This is incredible.
I got
So-
this text. It was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Happy.
That was the first. I lost my fucking mind.
It was-
Thankfully.
I sent you guys the same thing 9 hours later when I finally got to watch
when you
the
actually
show.
were able to watch it.
It was so
Um,
funny
Yeah.
because we obviously knew where you were when you said it. When you typed what you typed, we were like, oh, here we go.
So do you guys feel as though? By the way, a fantastic interplay between Shooty and Tennant.
Immediately on the roll. Like,
Perfect. As if
no
they had,
doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Yep.
He's gonna have fun. Like, Val and I turned to each other and we
Yes.
were just like, he's the doctor. I
And
see
he
immediately
felt
why
like
they
a
cast
father
him.
ready to go, have a good time.
Yeah. I got you.
Underwear.
I got you. Kiss on the forehead.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
love.
got you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
You're paper thin,
Um,
you're running on fumes.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that this is the older doctor who has probably experienced other stuff, who's perhaps been yanked into this. But I mean, there's such a difference between the two. Tennant does look tired in this, and
Trauma,
Shooty
man.
just looks so full of life and joy, and it's like the batteries are recharged like never before. There was no post regeneration sickness this time around,
No,
or
he just
by
couldn't
generation.
he couldn't get a handle on his ball throwing for a little
Yeah,
bit. But
that's true,
otherwise
yeah.
he was right in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel as though, and I'm going to throw this question out there, we're going to get more David Tennant specials or a David Tennant spinoff or something more related to Tennant shows? Even though Shooty's going to take the brunt of the work, I still think Tennant can show up a lot more now.
So I think, and Marcus, let me jump in. I don't think we will get specials anytime soon, if ever. I think this opens the door now for him and others to much more easily cross over into the main series. I think the rumored spinoff of Unit will have him show up here and there, especially to pump the ratings, especially in the beginning to get people to pay attention to the show. And then I don't know. It's possible he'll never show it, but I still get a sense he'll be tied into either maybe a season finale where he regenerates or a series finale, and he comes back in and puts a little bow on Shooty's story. But or maybe not, and maybe he floats around for years and years and years and can pop up wherever. I mean, he is a blank check for Davies and everybody else in the BBC. Like, they could do whatever they want now.
It's a free hit, isn't he?
Yeah.
I
So
think
I would say,
Russell T. David has just all the ideas.
Oh, don't
and
stop.
possibilities that he.
Don't start.
Russell T. Davies.
Infinite.
Sorry, you're right. Davies.
Davis.
You're correct.
Davis. This. Anyway,
For now.
I would say that, and this is
All
my ideal scenario. I would love to see that they are going to alternate between Who and Unit. So when this new season kicks off with Shooty and runs its gamut, they're filming Unit. And then when we've got that gap, the 1 year gap, the 6 month gap, whatever it is, 1 or 2 Unit specials with David Tennant, with Sylvester McCoy, with Tom Baker in some way, shape, or form.
Paul McGann.
Paul
Paul
McGann,
McGann,
the
yes.
one that everybody wants back.
Eccleston, even.
Eccleston.
I mean,
Wow.
he has said that he's, regretting a lot of his actions, which is great.
Not now, though, not with RTD back. He has said that they would all have to.
Oh,
before
really?
he'd ever consider it. So.
Well, all right. I've probably said it before, then I'll say it again. Fuck him.
Never say never.
I mean,
Over.
wouldn't it be, the one the other one who said never say never is Capaldi. On the, he actually said never, but he said his time is done. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see what's what. And, are we going to see 13? It would be lovely to see 13.
Yeah.
In a Russell T. Davis scripted way. That would be fantastic.
It really would.
So that would be
Really,
ideal
really
for
would.
me, is that we have, and you know how Disney Plus wants the content on a regular basis. There'll be none of this 18-month gap between seasons. It'll be a season, a season downtime. We want something else to fill the time slots or to fill the content, and then we're back again. So I fully expect that we will see a season of Doctor Who every year, 8 to 12 episodes, and then in between we can see these specials.
That sounds good. Sorry, Dudley. I just hope they don't. Sorry. I hope they don't overextend it or oversaturate it.
I agree.
Which
We
is
don't turn
what
it into
Disney-
Marvel.
Exactly. It's hard to do spring Who fall unit, spring Who fall unit,
That's
and
why.
not
That's why
burn
I'm
people
thinking
out.
specials instead of perhaps a series.
Yeah.
The special, it's like a
So-
90-minute special. That's a Doctor Who unit crossover, whatever, without the main Doctor, and it's in
Sure.
the Whoniverse. And we can see this, and it doesn't have to be a prep. It can be a standalone that reaches backwards instead of reaching forwards.
So where I think this could go is something that people have talked about for decades. And now that there's Disney Plus money, now that there's a massive renewed following, and now that there's opportunity, a Doctor Who movie could take place, an actual theater movie, a theater film with Doctor Who, a global event could happen because you are now building this groundswell of fans, fan activity. People are joining the show because they had heard about Tennant, they had heard about a bunch of other stuff, and now they have Ncuti as the new Doctor, and now they're going to be salivating for Doctor Who of the past. You could have one big event in the 2, 3, 4 years from now that does bring back all of these Doctors because you now have the ability to do it by generation. And I think Disney could make a killing on that because there are plenty of fans that want to see it, in my opinion. So yeah. But before we get to any movie,
I love the idea of it. I don't think you'd see it outside of an anniversary, 65th.
well,
or
yeah, I think it
70th.
would be an anniversary type. Well, I mean,
I don't
5
think
years
you'll
from now,
see
it's
it.
going to be the 65th anniversary. So who knows?
I don't think we'll see it for a couple of reasons. Mind you, I love the way you put it forward. One, Disney's box office is dying on its ass, and they've got so much other stuff that they've got to repair. Their animation studio, Star Wars, and Marvel, to name but three.
This is very low risk for Disney.
All of it.
It's not, but it's not very low risk. It's for them to make a
I
Doctor
feel like
Who
it's low
movie,
risk.
for it to be out
Lower
there, it's
risk.
still a $60 to $70 million
Sure.
budget,
Okay.
at least, because the VFX have to be really good. You can't film it in a coal quarry, in a bloody slate quarry in Blaenavon. You can't do the huge Hollywood blockbuster-esque type thing, in Salmonella Row in Cardiff, outside. Sorry, I've gone really Welsh now. Outside the old Cardiff Arms Park. I mean, you cannot do that stuff, and I don't. The beauty of Doctor Who has at its strength has always been its intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's been how it feels uniquely British, and it feels close. When they tried to up the budget, they've tried to invariably Americanize it, which is what you would expect would happen with this sort of thing. We get the Paul McGann special, which was an absolute freaking disaster. He was the only high point for that. We get Torchwood Miracle Day. We have been there before, and I think Disney, for them to have invested in this, I think they recognize that it's uniquely British, and it has to be uniquely British. I don't think Russell T is ready to, open to writing a huge thing, and I would much rather have 90-minute specials on streaming, which is what they want. They want people to keep on giving that $10 a month, because or $14 a month, whatever it is now. Because at the end of the day, you pay your movie ticket. It could backfire so spectacularly, and I would much rather see, I would love to have seen these three specials be 90 minutes each. Giggle, I really could have gone with an extra half an hour of the Giggle.
Oh yeah,
and really seen the maybe started off with, you see how things just slowly start to go wrong. And where is the Doctor? Nobody knows where the Doctor is when the satellite goes up.
Yep.
But yeah, I love the idea behind it and the hope behind it, but I just can't see a Doctor Who movie coming, alas.
Yeah, so kindly take your idea and shove it is what we basically told you.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
well, instead of a movie, how about a special? Which the next special will be coming at us in about 2 weeks.
Christmas.
Yeah.
The
Ruby
Goblins.
Road. Yeah.
So
Full of
the
dance
church-
numbers
yeah,
again.
It's the church on Ruby Road,
Church on Ruby Road. Yep.
and they've you say dance numbers. They actually released a single from
Yeah,
it
they
today.
did. The goblins.
Oh, did they?
The Goblin
Yeah.
single, because it's about the goblins. Apparently this one is supposed to be a little bit, scary in parts as well, because the goblins talk about eating babies, like you do, baby back, baby back, baby back. Having seen the trailer, you see this they kick it off with a reinvigorated Doctor in a kilt, dancing in a club, in a rave, just living his best life. And you can just see that. And this is what I loved. Tennant is such a hard act to follow.
Mm-hmm.
He was a hard act the first time round. It took Matt Smith a little while. The second time round, he's almost legendary. And the charisma that poured out of every millimeter of Gatwa was just a joy to behold. And I am looking forward. I mean, first of all, how cool was it when he pulled that big hammer out and ding?
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
And then he went into his
Then
TARDIS.
He apologized to the TARDIS.
Yeah, but then we got the wheelchair access and the jukebox inside. But he went in and he toned down the color from the harsh white that was almost clinical to a much warmer. And then he had his little disco, central column. But I love how he calls everybody love.
Yeah, it's great.
Great. The accent is going to be interesting because he's obviously, the actor is Rwandan Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was born in Rwanda, raised in Rwanda. I think it was Rwanda, and then moved to Scotland at a very early age. But you hear him, he's got a full-on Scottish accent, much like David Tennant.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed his accent was a little bit all over the place. It was almost, there was some African in it. I mean, that line's like, "What the hell is going on here?" I love that.
I love it.
And because we saw that at the teased so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a little bit of Scottish coming in.
Well, we're gonna find out more about him because we're gonna see him in just 2 weeks. Like I said, I'm saying it because I'm trying to wrap this episode. It's late.
Okay.
I don't know how Sean can stay awake so late. He wakes up at noon. But I don't know. But yeah, in just a couple weeks, we'll be seeing the church on Ruby Road. We're going to be seeing the little goblins. We're going to be seeing Shooty as Doctor Number 15, filling our hearts with joy and a Yuletide spirit. And you're going to be seeing us soon after that because we're going to have yet another episode, probably within a couple days or so after Christmas.
I mean, how excited is it? Because let's face it, how you can't have Christmas without a little goblin.
Yep.
Wait, what?
I agree. Yep.
Little
Christmas
goblin.
is for the goblins.
That took a turn. I was it's like right there.
Everybody loves a little goblin at Christmas.
Oh my goodness. On that note, you can find us at Lonely
Turkey,
TARDIS on
gobbling.
YouTube,
Gobble.
on Facebook, on whatever that other network is. You can find Sean and Marcus on their respective YouTubes and Facebooks and
5
and
toy
all-
boxes out of 5.
5 toy box. Your rating 5 out of 5, Marcus?
12 out of 5.
I'm gonna say 2 doctors out of 2.
I will say this is the best episode of Doctor Who since the 50th. It's been a decade.
Right.
Oh my God. Well done, Russell T. Well done, everybody.
Wait, wait.
No.
Before we close down, before we close,
bring it, Norman.
Has this now lived up to your 50th? Has now lived up to your anniversary episode level?
Absolutely. I think it has, in my opinion. I will say, and I put this in text to you this morning, having a good Doctor Who, having a great Doctor Who is good for my soul. I have felt so much better just in general about the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just Russell T does that for me.
There you go.
I think in time I'll be right there. Like I said last week, it's my personal thing where I think when I think specials, I think 5 Doctors, I think the 50th and everything like that. But yes, as a show, as a return, as Russell T Davies put it, like a hug from an old friend,
Mhm.
Yes, these were nice. They were sweet. They were brilliantly acted. They were special.
You had 3 doctors in 2 episodes. What would you want?
Donna, Dr. Donna. Actually,
4 if you count the Dr. Donna, yeah.
Yep.
But you've got
And-
2 tenants, Shooty,
True.
and the Dr. Donna.
I'm gonna
Piss
say
in
that
their
I
tree.
loved this as an anniversary episode because where the 50th was a celebration of the Doctor's past, aimed squarely at the fans that have been there. This 60th is a celebration of the Doctor's future and the fans that are yet to come. So, on that note, we'll see you all on the next episode of The Lonely TARDIS.
That was beautiful. That was so sweet. You got such a big heart. You look like Mega Man.